Never in their lives should these famous people have accepted to participate in an interview. We would like to take this opportunity to welcome you to our channel, where we will be counting down our choices for famous people who have suffered substantial damage to their reputations for a period of time as a result of scandalous behavior in a single interview, even if they have since recovered. Numerous celebrities, such as Tom Cruise, Liam Neeson, Prince Andrew, Charlie Sheen, Megan Fox, and others, are included in our ranking. Number 10. Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong was a beloved cyclist who was considered to be one of the best athletes in history. He was a hero for overcoming cancer and becoming a dominant force in the professional cycling industry. Nevertheless, at that point, the rumors that he had achieved all of this achievement through the use of doping started to surface. All of his victories since 1998 were taken away from him by the United States Anti-Doping Agency in the year 2012. Oprah Winfrey conducted an interview with Armstrong in 2013, despite the fact that he refuted the allegations. In this instance, the former legend conceded that he had cheated on his teammates and lied about it, but he refuted charges that he had bribed officials and forced his comrades to take drugs in order to conceal his test results. Following that, prominent companies like Nike terminated their ties with him, which reportedly resulted in Armstrong losing millions of dollars. Number 9. Billy Bush. Just assume that everyone is already listening to you if you are wearing a microphone. You will be doing yourself a favor. The controversial clip from Access Hollywood shows Donald Trump and Billy Bush, a presenter, walking into a television studio to do some filming without realizing that their microphones are turned on. They ran about Trump's sexual exploits, which include grabbing women, and talk about how power may give you the freedom to do whatever you want. This takes place while they are on the bus, even before they meet Ariane Zucker, the actress who plays Ariane Zucker on Days of Our Lives. We hear them discussing how attractive they find her to be. This occurs before they get off the bus as well. Following a decline in viewership, Bush was removed from his position as host of the Today Show, and he later resigned from his position. He has been required to justify himself in interviews on multiple occasions since then. Number 8 to 5 Seconds of Summer. The fact that Rolling Stone magazine has chosen to conduct an interview with your band is a very significant event. Because of this, it is not uncommon for people to go carried away when they are attempting to sound excessively rock and roll. And that is just what transpired with the band known as 5 Seconds of Summer. During an interview in 2015, the band did everything from comparing themselves to the Beatles to disparaging or dismissing the American Music Awards, Justin Bieber, and their female fans, which is essentially the majority of their fandom. Both for the comments that they made and for the way that they usually seemed like narcissistic prima donnas, they received criticism. It is quite unlikely that the fact that they were depicted naked on the front cover was of any assistance. Number 7. Paula Abdul. What happens when you are intoxicated but you don't believe that you sound intoxicated? Maybe you don't have that. Having said that, there is a considerable probability that Paula Abdul is familiar with the sensation of hearing that, at least in retrospect. She is promoting the most recent season of American Idol in this interview that was conducted in 2007. In spite of the fact that she would subsequently deny the idea as lies, many viewers were curious as to whether or not she had consumed a few beers or participated in some other form of stimulus. This one has it all: delayed reactions, spurts of hilarity, and everything else. Since the interview went viral, it has become an inseparable component of Abdul's professional life. She resigned her position as a judge on American Idol 2 years later owing to a disagreement with the amount of money she was paid, and she disappeared from the public eye for a period of time. Number 6. The Chainsmokers. Following that, we have yet another failed attempt to sound hardcore in an interview with a magazine. This time, it comes from the musical duo Chainsmokers, who let it all hang out with Billboard. They were all too willing to brag about their wild frat boy image and their penchant for sleeping with as many girls as possible when they were asked about their frantic musical romps. This was the case despite the fact that both of them had established relationships with other women. For all the wrong reasons, the two were subjected to a great deal of criticism and momentarily became the topic of conversation in the world of music. Nevertheless, we shouldn't be too hard on them. Is that correct? To paraphrase what they stated, "We're just frat bro boys, you understand what I mean? Beloved by females and other things." Simply put, that is a direct quote, word for word. Number 5. Prince Andrew. As a result of this interview, Prince Andrew ultimately decided to step aside from his public duties for the royal family. Many people refer to this interview as a car crash. Emily Maitlis of the BBC questioned him about his close ties to Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted sexual offender. The prince's response caused many people to raise their eyebrows during the conversation. In the first place, Prince Andrew categorically denied ever having a meeting with his accuser Virginia Roberts, despite the fact that there is photographic evidence to the contrary. Throughout the entire conversation, there were a number of additional unexpected responses, such as the statement that he did not regret his association with Epstein because it provided him with useful possibilities. The interviewer is obviously not impressed with his responses, and he is in agreement with the majority of the other people that saw the video. Number 4. Katherine Heil. For a very long time, Heil has been known to be a challenging person to collaborate with. Nevertheless, an interview that she gave to Vanity Fair in 2008 proved to be particularly devastating when she expressed her disapproval of the film Knocked Up, in which she had just featured. She referred to the film as a little sexist and offered criticism over the manner in which it depicts women. This caused a lot of people to be frustrated, especially considering that she had chosen to be a part of the film. The next year, she had a role in the film The Ugly Truth, which was severely criticized for being sexist and sexist in general. As a consequence of the entire affair, filmmakers who were already concerned about working with her were given yet another reason to be wary about doing so. Number 3. Megan Fox. It is probably not a good idea to compare the director you're working with to Hitler. This is a general rule that applies to all situations. Megan Fox, who plays the role of Megan Fox in the film Transformers, stated this in an interview with the British magazine Wonderland. When discussing Michael Bay's behavior on site, Fox made a comparison between the filmmaker and the Nazi commander, which led to the comparison being widely reported in the media. She was subsequently terminated from her position inside the Transformers franchise as a consequence of this, as opposed to by Bay. According to Bay, the executive producer of the franchise, also known as Steven Spielberg, was the one who asked that she be terminated from her position. Fox's prominent roles have been few and far between since she gave this interview. However, she has collaborated with Bay once more on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle films, which Bay produced. Bay is the producer of these films. Number 2. Charlie Sheen. The career of this individual has been marked by a number of statements and actions that are extremely shocking and controversial. However, the reason that he is included on today's list might astound you. He made the announcement that he was HIV positive during his appearance on the Today Show in 2015, which is the interview that is being taken into consideration. While there were those who lauded his bravery, there were also those who condemned the fact that it had taken him over 4 years to come forward with the information, arguing that it could have put his sexual partners in risk. People also took issue with Sheen's unusually calm tone as he described his diagnosis and the struggle he had to endure with individuals who attempted to blackmail him. Some others felt that the interview took Sheen to a more human level than ever before. It further cemented his reputation as a dangerous person, particularly with regard to the lives of other people, particularly in the eyes of others. Number 1. R. Kelly. When it comes to claims of sexual misconduct, R. Kelly still had his supporters in the 2000s, despite the fact that the situation is very different now. Although he was initially prosecuted in 2002, he was ultimately found not guilty in 2008. On the other hand, an interview that was conducted in the same year regarding the charges made certain that Kelly's tainted reputation would not be forgotten. In response to the question of whether or not he had feelings for adolescent girls, Kelly had the following response: "When you say teenagers, how old are we talking?" The viewers, as well as Toure, who was conducting the interview, were taken aback by Kelly's response, and it went on to provide additional evidence in support of the assertions that he was, in fact, guilty. The iconic statement turned out to be a pivotal event in the way the press portrayed him in the years that followed. Which of the controversial celebrity interview caused you to cease being a fan of that particular celebrity? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, subscribe to our channel before leaving.